Discipline is one of those things that everybody needs to succeed. However, discipline is also one of those things that everybody seems to struggle being consistent with. Relying on pure discipline alone to accomplish your goals is pretty much a gamble. Some days it may work and other days it simply doesn't. If you truly want to excel at the game of life, you need something much more than just discipline alone. The trick to overcoming this problem is not to feel that you have to play the game, is to feel that you want to play the game. Today's video is all about learning how to complement discipline by adding more motivation to the mix, which is going to make the game much more exciting and fun to play. So let's get into it. Now, when it comes to the topic of motivation, understand there are two different types of it. The first is extrinsic motivation, and this is motivation that is motivated by external rewards, things like money, praise, or even avoiding punishment. You can think about going to work. We're going to work because we want to get paid. We're going to work because we're trying to get a promotion, and most of all, we're trying not to get fired. That's why we go to work, right? Now, there are some pros for extrinsic motivation. For one, it's very motivating in the short term. There's clear incentives to doing that thing, and it's very easy to track the progress, whether we're actually moving forward doing the thing. If you go to work, we get paid, then obviously we're motivated to keep on doing the thing, right? Now, on the other hand, there's also intrinsic motivation, and these are rewards that's motivated by internal factors, things like personal satisfaction, the joy of doing the activity for yourself, and simply the passion of doing that thing. As for the pros of intrinsic motivation, of course, it's going to foster a lot more long-term engagement. It's going to encourage a lot of growth on your part, and it also encourages a lot of creativity, a lot of deeper learning into actually doing the thing. You can kind of think about going to work for the sake of actually enjoying doing the thing, trying to get better at the thing. That is more intrinsic motivation. There's no external rewards that's coming from it. You personally want to do it because that is what you want to continue doing and continue growing at. Now, while it may seem that both these types of motivation are very conflicting in nature, they can actually work hand in hand, and they can even fuel each other if you build your systems correctly, which is what I want to share with you today. The biggest barrier towards pushing towards your goals is the fact that the more meaningful goals in life takes a very, very long time to achieve. And for most human beings, we don't have a lot of patience, and oftentimes it's not very easy to push through the difficult things when there's no reward for doing so in the short term. So what I found was that whenever the going got tough for me, when things got boring and things got boring and difficult really quick and very often, I tend to distract myself with other more fun activities. I tend to procrastinate, right? Just one little TikTok video, just 30 minutes of that video game, just one episode of my favorite Netflix show, and suddenly the whole night simply evaporated. We need to understand that in the modern day era, it's very easy to access dopamine, right? It's very easy to distract ourselves. We want to use this fact to our advantage instead of trying to restrict ourselves completely and relying on pure discipline alone. So what you want to do is you want to capture your distractions and turn it into rewards. And these rewards are going to be the external rewards, going to be the extrinsic motivation that you need to push yourself forward in the short term. For example, say you want to start reading a little bit more after dinner, but what you find is after dinner, you get really tired, you sit on the couch and you start watching television. So you don't really end up reading that book, or it's not very consistent with doing it day after day. So what you want to do instead is understand that watching television is that thing you're procrastinating with. So you want to capture it, and now that there is the reward you get if you're able to accomplish the task that you set for yourself. So every single night, you now have a question and kind of a game for yourself, right? If you're able to read and do that particular thing, then you're gonna get to enjoy watching television for the rest of the night. Now, keep in mind, this is just my opinion on how to do stuff, but what I found was that this little switch kind of helped me push forward in the short term, especially when I don't feel like doing the thing. And the one thing that I realized is that consistency is very powerful. The more that you do a particular thing, the easier it'll get, day after day after day. It's when you have these little gaps where you procrastinate and you stop and you're not really consistent that things get a lot more difficult. So in the short term, capturing your distractions and using them as rewards is a very powerful tool that I found helped me out a lot, and I hope it helps you out too. At least a lot better than relying on just pure discipline alone. Oh, and if you're enjoying the content up to this point, make sure you smash the like button. It's the easiest way you can let me know this kind of content is vibing with you, and it helps me with researching the better topics I can cover in my next video. So thank you so much, and back to the video. Now keep in mind, you do not just want to rely on extrinsic motivation alone, because at some point you want to turn that extrinsic motivation into intrinsic motivation, where you yourself actually want to do that thing because you are looking for growth, you personally are passionate about a thing, and you just simply want to do it because you know that it's going to be good for you. Extrinsic motivation is more for the short term, but intrinsic motivation is where the power really comes into play. What I really found was that whenever we're playing any sort of game, we want a little challenge through the game, right? We don't just simply want to be given the reward, because if everything is just simply given to us, we don't have to work for it, then it kind of loses that meaning, right? Because think about it, if you can watch television 24 hours a day with no restrictions, you can just sit on the couch and do it all this freaking time, then what really is the point? You're gonna get to a point where you're gonna get bored. It's not gonna feel right. You're gonna feel pretty shitty about yourself. You want to actually earn the time where you can enjoy the reward. So at least what I found was that whenever you set all these little games, this little task for yourself, like I need to accomplish this goal in order to get my, whatever distraction that I set for myself, it makes that thing that you're gonna enjoy a lot more fun to do. Trust me on this. I've experimented with this so much already because I love playing video games, but whenever I play a little too much of it, the game gets a lot less fun for some weird reason, right? But whenever I have to push through doing difficult things, I have to work really hard, work on my projects, work out, do all these things, and then at the end of the day, I get to play that video game. Oh my goodness, it is so much sweeter. So I think intrinsic motivation actually can be developed and created by understanding that you're working towards getting a fun thing. So the trick here is you want to feel like you want to go through the difficult stuff, you want to play the game, because when you do that, the game gets a lot more fun and exciting to play, right? You're not relying on discipline. You understand that yes, to enjoy my day, I need to do the difficult things to make the rewards a lot more sweeter. On the other hand, this also has that long-term effect of if you're doing the thing that you know you're supposed to do, such as reading those books, in time, if you repeat it every single day, you will reach a point where you're going to finish a whole book and it's going to feel really great because you accomplished this long-term goal, you gain all the knowledge from it or the education, you feel a lot more confident in that, and then it kind of snowballs in its effect. So I hope you can kind of see how things kind of tie together, because extrinsic motivation is going to push you into the short term to remain consistent with stuff, but if you remain consistent and keep on doing the thing and enjoy the process, in time it's going to turn into intrinsic motivation because you're going to see the progress, you're going to enjoy the growth, you enjoy the process, and it's going to keep on pushing you further and further and further. So at least this is what I kind of found helped me out a little bit more, because relying on pure discipline alone to tell yourself like, hey, you have to do this thing and you can't do any other fun stuff, you have to remain disciplined, it's not very reliable, and in fact it's not very fun to do so. And I found myself failing a lot when I relied just on pure discipline alone. But when I kind of turn it a little bit into the game, when I think about the things that are motivating me, try to kind of change my mindset a little bit on how to make the game a lot more fun, then I got a lot more consistent and actually became a lot more disciplined in a way. Because at the end of the day, you need to understand that enjoying the fun stuff in life isn't really wrong. It's simply trying to find the right balance between doing the productive things and then being able to enjoy the stuff without feeling guilty. You don't want to simply have an imbalance of the two, because then what really is the point of playing the game? At least that's what I found, because the whole point of playing the game is not just to level up, you also want to enjoy playing the game as part of the process. When you do so, it's going to be a lot more consistent, a lot more reliable to help you level up in the game of life. So that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and check out this video over here for more content just like this. As always, my name is 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Take care. Peace.